So because we had some camera difficulties, we're back. What were we talking about? We were talking about what happened when you were on reserve.
In the reserve area, that's what we would, of course, clean up, and we took showers and stuff like that. But even sometimes it was winter time and it was freezing cold, and we took showers. We had to take showers and shave. Shave, we did that every day. Even in the front line, we shaved every day. They have a magazine from Korea, the blue beards, gray beards, but we didn't have no beard. Nobody could have a beard. And I was the sergeant, so I made sure that my men were always shaved. Every morning everybody had to shave. And sometimes they would complain to me because I didn't shave.
Really?
I was 17 years old, I didn't shave. But I would make sure that all my men shaved. And some of those guys actually shaved with straight razors back then too.
So were you just not old enough to have enough facial hair?
I was old enough to have facial hair. I didn't need facial hair.
Wow.
I was 17 years old, so I was a kid.
You still don't shave every day.
I don't shave every day, but
that's funny.
I don't have a heavy beard or anything, so at 17 years old I didn't shave, but on the front line, everybody had to shave. Every morning I would go around checking all my men, make sure they were shaved. They weren't shaved. Take a shave out, shave. Take your helmet, some water in the helmet, soap, and wash your face and you shave. That's something they have to do every day. And in the reserve, they're more than shave. You have to take a bath and stuff, and we gave everybody a haircut and stuff like that in the reserve area. And of course they did a lot of drinking and stuff.
So, did they let you drink in Korea? Oh, well, the drinking, because the drinking was supposed
just
to...
in the reserve area we could drink. We couldn't drink on the front line.
Yeah, but just because you were 17, wasn't it 18 at that time, the drinking age?
No.
Or did the U.S. not have a drinking age?
They didn't have no drinking age. How could they say you're too young to drink if you're old enough to be in combat situations? I mean, there's no way anybody would understand that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be understandable. And the same thing with smoking. They gave us cigarettes every day. C rations had a whole pack of cigarettes in the C rations. They gave us every day a pack of cigarettes. And there were some guys that didn't smoke, and some that smoked more than others, so we passed cigarettes around and that kind of stuff. Chesterfield cigarettes, nobody seemed to want. We used to give them to the Koreans for favors and stuff like that. We hold dug someplace or something like that. We give them a pack of cigarettes and they'd do some extra work for us or whatever. We put them with Chesterfield cigarettes. Everybody wanted Lucky Strike cigarettes. That was their favorite cigarettes in Korea.
So you were 17 and your platoon leader. Did you have in your platoon others that were much older than you? And did they ever give you grief?
They were all older than me.
Did they ever give you grief for it?
You see, the 45th Division, what happened is when I went there, I went into the 1st Cavalry. And the 1st Cavalry did a lot of fighting before I got there. And they started the DMZ and that kind of stuff in the outposts, and we started setting up all these type of things. And then they said the 1st Cavalry will go back to Hokkaido, Japan, and the 45th Division will come over to replace them. Well, there were so many of us that had to stay back to show the 45th Division where we went, where the patrols were, where the outposts was, where the booby traps were, because all these barbed wire, they were marked. We marked them all very well. So when we went on patrol, we went through the barbed wire to get to the north side of the barbed wire where the Koreans were and the Chinese. You had to walk through there, so you don't want to walk on mines. And that too, you used to tell the guys stay in the path. Sometimes some of the guys would get off the path and they would step on a mine. Those things happen. That's friendly fire. That's terrible. So were they older than me? Well, the 45th Division, when they came over, they were a National Guard outfit. So
really?
Some of the guys were like 25, 30 years old, 35 years old.
Yeah.
And they were National Guard in the 45th Division.
Wow.
So they were all much older than me. And that's what made it so hard for them to take orders from me, because I was like a platoon leader. Platoon leader as a lieutenant, but I wasn't a lieutenant. I was just an enlisted man.
You were a private.
But,
right?
They made me a corporal in E4. So uncommissioned officer, they call it. So they had to take orders from me. And some were sergeants besides that, and who were full sergeants because they had been in the National Guard for a long time. But they still had to take orders from me because they made me the platoon leader. It was the same thing as a lieutenant, and I had to say over these guys. Of course, I knew what was going on, and they didn't. So
yeah. So because you had those skills, even though you outranked them, you were platoon leader.
Yeah. So that part there was hard for a lot of these guys.
I can imagine.
To understand that. A kid telling them to shave, or a kid telling them to stay 5 yards apart. I was screaming at them and going on patrol because, see, when you go on a patrol, you're going out there like at night time, it's dark, and it's scary. Now, what would be the most powerful thing you want to do? You want to talk to somebody. You want a friend. You want somebody close to you. Well, I would scream at them. I didn't want that. I want everybody at least 5 yards apart, 15 feet apart. Because when you're two together, you're making a more target. When you're more apart, less target. 5 yards apart, and stay in the trail. Do not get off the trail. And I would holler at them, and I would keep them going down in the trail, and I would scream at them, always 5 yards apart. Even the thing in Washington, D.C., where they were going through the rice paddies.
Oh, yeah, the memorial.
Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
The memorial. Well, that's exactly the way it was. Like, we would go through the rice paddies like that. But the only difference was they were more scattered than that. But of course, for the memorial, they were closer together. But in real action, you have to be further apart because if they're close together, you make more target. I couldn't have that. And I would make some of those guys mad because I was always screaming at them. But today, or at least 3 or 4 years ago, I might have screamed at them, but they love me now. Because when I went to Oklahoma to visit they had a reunion, I went to visit with them.
Oh, really?
They had a parade. I had to carry the flag like that, and I had to lead the parade. They treated me like a all-time hero. They loved me. We went and played golf. They gave me the golf trophy, which I didn't really earn. They made sure that they got me on a stage and they gave me that golf trophy.
It's the only trophy you ever got.
Yeah, when you,
They really, they send me Christmas cards now and stuff. So, then they didn't particularly like me then because of the situation. I can understand that. But now that we're all over that, even Crow, the guy that's in here, he had to have a drink with me when we were in Oklahoma. He said, "There's no way I'm not gonna have a drink with you and stuff." And, I mean, all these guys really. They didn't hate me even from what we went through career. It was hard for them to understand to take it.
You know, young kids ordering
just like if a little
around.
kid this high would tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the boss here. You know?